From Riggins into our area, and there's a series of switchbacks we're doing. I don't know if this is going to possibly capture them, but I'll keep videoing here and see if I can. Well, these switchbacks we're winding up are crazy narrow, tight. Like, thankfully there's not very much traffic, but a couple motorcycles and a couple side-by-sides. Thank gosh we haven't met another truck, because, well, you can see it's pretty tight. And I think this is about, I'm coming up on about probably the 8th switchback maybe. Gained a really lot of elevation. This is crazy. I'm gonna try to get around the corner here where you guys can see down and see these crazy switchbacks we've come up. It's possible. I think you'll be able to see them. Usually I can, and Gary's behind me about, I don't know, a quarter mile, maybe half mile. I could look down and see him every once in a while. I think if I stopped and spit, I could hit his windshield. At any rate, let me see here if I can hold the phone over and see these switchbacks. Obviously that road right there is the one that I just came up, but there's switchbacks clear on that ridge. Oh, I better pay attention. On that ridge way over there. Anyway, adventure begins. All right, well, day one, pretty much a bust. A little bit old sign. Not even really any tracks. Old. This summer, maybe last year. I don't know, old. Anyway, not much to look at. I think we're gonna go over there and come up on the back side of that far ridge. That's someplace we were this summer where we saw a lot of sign, deer and elk. It's quite a little drive around to the other side, but this is not worth it. So plan B. Okay, day two. As you can see, we are in some very different looking country. The old burn, and just kind of getting started. The truck is down there. We're about an hour into our day. Have not really seen anything. I've been glassing that hill over there. Gary's been glassing the hill I'm on. Anyway, have not seen anything except a fresh moose track so far. So, back to it. All right, well, day two, about 10 o'clock in the morning, about a mile from the truck, maybe a little more. Have not cut a single deer track. Few old elk tracks, I mean, like this summer, and several fresh moose tracks, but I haven't seen a moose. I haven't seen anything moving. I haven't even heard a squirrel hardly. I didn't know that you could be in a place as gorgeous as this, which I'll turn the camera around in a second, and not, I don't know how you not see anything. Maybe this place is full of wolves. I really don't know. Anyway, in Idaho, and we got 5 days of mule deer or deer season. I don't think there's any whitetail in here. Maybe. Not here though. In fact, I'm kind of struggling to see that there's any deer here, but there must be a few somewhere. At any rate, haven't found them the first 2 days, that's for sure. And these were two places we'd been in that had deer sign this summer when we came and scouted in July. So they've either moved up, which is possible. There is some high ground above us, as you can see up there. And it's beautiful in here. It really is beautiful. Just devoid of life, as best I can tell. Anyway, probably push on for a little ways and gain a little more elevation. See if we come across any sign at all. If not, probably by noon pull out of here and plan B, C, D, E, whatever it is. Do something else. All right, we'll check back later. All right, quick little day 2 update. I think it's around noon. Anyway, starting to see a little bit of sign. We're back in here about 1.5 miles, maybe 2. I saw some doe and fawn tracks. First set anything fresh I've seen. And Gary, who is over there, just saw a single track. So we'll see what happens. Okay, quick little day 2 update. I'm on this side of the drainage, as you can see. Gary is over there. He's actually down in there somewhere. You can't kind of see through the trees. See that rocky high point? He's underneath that. Anyway, just cut a fresh deer track finally. First one he's seen all day. And I just saw, looked like maybe 2 does and a fawn or 2. Oh, maybe half hour ago. On back down. Can't really tell, but back down in there. At any rate, you can see a lot of country from here. Not much deer sign in the amount of ground we've covered. We're probably, I looked on Onyx a little bit ago, and we're probably 1.75 miles from the truck, something like that. No man tracks, no tracks, really, if anything. So, anyway. All right, day 3. Day 2 ended with us watching that basin. Didn't see anything until we got back to the truck. Went to turn around with the truck, and 2 mule deer does ran across the road in front of us. So today we decided to take it a little easier on our bodies, and do a little run around with the 4-wheelers and scout, look at a little bit different area, do some glassing, and get ready for a big hunt again tomorrow. I doubt there's any way to appreciate this, but it's crazy, this road we're driving on. We're driven down, now we're heading back up. Country is just vast. It's huge. There's more country here in 5 miles than there is in the entire Mahau Valley. All right, day 4, I think. Thursday. Must be about the 14th. Gary is up there somewhere. I'm walking this road right here, which is closed, but you can walk it. They just closed it not too long ago. And you can't really tell from here. Those mountains over there are on the other side of the South Fork of the Salmon. And we're kind of on the high breaks, kind of maybe midway up, I don't know. Anyway, I've seen nothing but 1 doe, oh, I don't know, an hour or so ago. And it is afternoon. We broke camp this morning saw exactly nothing but a very few tracks. And anyway, this area here looks really good. Pretty much tracks on the road the entire walk, and I've probably only gone maybe about a mile. I don't know, mile and a quarter. So we'll see what we get. It looks pretty good in here, so we may actually pack a camp into this road. It's actually a pretty gentle road. I think we could push the deer cart up it with a camp. And speaking of which, there's some elk tracks right there. Anyway, check back later. Quick little video on this road I'm on. There's a man track right there. That's probably Wes's track. More on that later, but that is wolf scat. You can see right there. And if you walk up here, that is a pretty fresh elk track. So I haven't seen a wolf track yet, and that scat's pretty old, but a lot of elk tracks, so looking good. Okay, I'm going to shoot a little video here of what we're hunting today. I was just walking up this old closed road. I'm in a couple miles. I just happened to be at a spot that gives a pretty decent perspective of just how steep and deep and far it is to anything. It's pretty ridiculous. I don't know if this video does it any justice at all, but I think you can begin to see just how far it is across these places. That actually makes it look real close. It is not close. It is many, many, many yards away, miles away. Anyway, that's my view at the moment. We're getting toward the end of day 4, and so far I have seen 3 does, which is not great. At any rate, beautiful country, and quite a few tracks right in here, but animals are laying low. Full moon at night, 70 during the day. I don't think they're moving much. Anyway, not in the daylight when we can see them anyway. All right, so today is day 5. It's the 14th. Elk season opens tomorrow. Finish up yesterday. We got back to camp at, we got out of the woods at dark. Beautiful area, lots of sign. Decided to get back to our base camp and move base camp back closer to that area. So here is the view from our new camp. All right, view from our new camp. Kind of like we're on top of the world, it looks like, huh? So there's new camp. As you can see, 4-wheelers, or maybe you can't see. They're behind that tree over there. Anyway, we are top of the world, ready to start elk hunting tomorrow. Yeah, the area we were in last night is kind of right down there. Like way down there. Anyway, maybe I'll walk over in a minute and see if I can get a shot down in there. Good morning, it is Saturday, October 15th, 8 a.m. in Idaho time. This is the view that I am watching currently. Opening day of elk season. And I'm looking, mostly I'm watching that down in there, that down there. This down below me here is between 200 and 500 yards, depending. And I'm glassing way out there too, but anyway, that right down in there is the South Fork of the Salmon, and the main fork of the Salmon kind of around the corner that way. 2,000 feet or just under 79 something. And the river below me down there is 2,000 feet in elevation. So there's 6,000 feet, if you can see that, which you probably can if you start looking at just how big this country is. Have not heard a shot yet. It's been daylight about half an hour or so. And there are quite a few people around. I don't know if you can see that road over there. There's actually a couple vehicles parked right there. And I just saw another vehicle go by on that little stretch right there. That road goes all the way out to that knob right there. And anyway, fair amount of traffic on it this morning. Again, no shooting. So day one elk season, we're going to give it a couple days in here. This is extremely rugged country. I could see killing elk in here, but maybe 20 years ago when I was in a lot better shape, it's pretty hard to do 3,000 or 4,000 vertical. And truth is, we haven't even seen an elk yet. So, all right. Okay, quick little update. Probably about an hour ago, maybe 45 minutes ago, Gary called me over and I walked back over to where he's sitting, which is just 100 yards or so around the hill. And he's looking down into that basin right there, which you can't see very well from here. Anyway, I've been watching this kind of upper, closer stuff. Anyway, there's a little hole in the timber down there, and there was an elk in it. And so we got to looking at it, and it was just as the sun was coming up, just starting to, the sun was on us, but it was just starting to hit that opening. And finally, I could tell it was a bull, and it was a good bull, like big, mature, wide, big bull. Couldn't count points. It was at 1,725 yards. So, decided to come back around here and sit for a few more minutes and study the onyx. And we're going to get back on the four-wheelers here in a little bit and ride around where we can hopefully look and see if we have an approach to cut that distance. And we'll see. Looking on onyx, I think we can get it cut down to about 600 or 700 yards and still be able to see it. He's in a hole that you cannot see, really, I don't think, from anywhere besides where Gary was sitting, or maybe, near there. Anyway, he's 1,800 feet below us in elevation. Anyway, we'll see. Keep you up to date. So the bull we saw this morning is in an opening way down there. And it's 1,800 or 2,000 feet below us from where we're sitting right now. It's a good bull. We got sunlight on his antlers and could see him pretty well. He's a big, wide bull. Couldn't really count points, but he's tall enough. He's probably a 6, 5 or 6 anyway. He's a good, big bull. And one to definitely pull the trigger on from my perspective. Anyway, we're going to sit here a little bit longer and then take a ride around onto that road that you can just barely see over there and see if we can figure out an approach that allows us to get anywhere remotely close to in range of that opening. And it's like 1,800 or 2,000 feet below us, so it'd be something for tomorrow morning. Okay, so Sunday the 16th, Gary and I saw that bull yesterday morning at about 1,720 yards. And we're spent yesterday afternoon, mid-morning, late morning, mid-afternoon, trying to figure out how to get a spot where you could reach the opening that he's in, and there was only one place you could see him from. So I'm sure no one else saw him. It happened to be where Gary was sitting yesterday morning. You could actually see this little hole he was in. Anyway, there's only one place that you can get to that's close enough to get a shot. You can get to about 600 yards. And I'm dropping into that spot. I got to drop in about 1,500 yards, and 1,500 feet rather, elevation loss, dropping down in this hole and trying to find this one little opening. I got it pretty well marked on Onyx. I think I can get right to it and hopefully see the hole he was in, and we'll see what happens. So that's what we're doing this morning. Gary's going to stay up on top, and I'm dropping in. So, okay, see you later. Okay, I'm in position. Got here about, I don't know, just as it was breaking day. I wasn't exactly sure if I was in the right spot. But I sat down, let it get light a little bit. And I was actually looking at the wrong hole, but just by a little bit. So I moved around the hill about, I don't know, maybe 20 yards. And I'm in a spot now where I can see where that elk was yesterday. I haven't seen anything yet. It's 8 o'clock. Sun's still not up. It's weird timing here in Idaho. Anyway, it's what it is. But the sun is not up. I'll flip this around so you guys can see. That is the opening I'm watching, but I can see pretty good. There's a road up there. Anyway, this is what I'm looking at. Primarily that opening right there. So sit tight for a little while, let the sun come up, see if we catch anything moving at all. I haven't seen anything yet except squirrels, which interestingly enough is the first time I've actually seen a squirrel here. Okay, well, 9 o'clock. Have not seen a thing. I can see that opening pretty well. Moved around the hill a little bit. There's a little different view of it. You can see the rocks at the top a little bit better. Anyway, no bull this morning. So I'm gonna go make a big loop down underneath that, the direction he disappeared to yesterday. I'm guessing that's his bedroom down there. The wind has switched finally and started to come up the hill a little bit now that the sun's hitting the hillside. Anyway, the wind's coming uphill. So I'm going to make a big loop out and drop down into his bedroom and see if I can't find him. I don't know what else to do. I'm down in here now. I really don't want to climb back out of here without making an effort, more of an effort. Okay. All right, well, it's about 10 o'clock now. Gary is dropping in from above me up there. I'm sitting on a log. So far today I have jumped 14 grouse. Seemed to be a lot of grouse in here, at least right in this last little bit for sure. Anyway, have not heard, seen, nothing. There's a lot of sign in here though, ton of sign. There's just rototilled tracks from deer and elk. I would imagine we'll at least jump something eventually. I would hope to actually see something. I'm guessing they're bedded now. So anyway, keep moving here and have a little snack and keep going. Okay, so it's noon, and Gary just had a couple bulls bugling back and forth to him, right out in front of him. And Gary's a couple these little drainages to my south, kind of. Anyway, I'm working and he's higher on the hill above me, about 400 feet. Anyway, I'm working my way back around toward him. He hasn't heard them for a few minutes. He said the last he heard them, they sounded like they were coming toward me. So anyway, we'll see. I'm gonna keep working my way that direction. All right, Gary just called me and told me that he'd bumped those elk again, and or something bumped him. He heard them go. He said he thought they were about 100 yards out in front of him. They're heading toward me. So I found a spot here pretty close to where I was when he called me, like 30, 40 yards. I'm in a draw. I can see up into there, across, and down to there. About 100 yards each direction. Anyway, I've not heard anything yet. But looking at the topo map, it seems like this is probably pretty close to where they'd come through. So I'm going to sit tight for a bit. Looks like I need to wash my face. Wow. Okay. That's not camo paint. That's just dirt. Okay. I'll let you know what happens in a bit. Okay, so 3 o'clock update. Gary and I met up, had a little snack, talked for a little while about our options. Decided to go ahead and drop all the way down in here. And we've dropped about, I don't know, maybe 400 or 500 feet elevation since we met. I cut around the hill and I'm on the ridge that those elk were on this morning, although the ridge is quickly falling off into this hole. I think the ridge is mostly gone. I don't know where the elk went. I don't know if they kept going down or if they hooked away from us around the hill. I don't know. There's sign everywhere. You can't really tell. Anyway, we're going to drop down probably about another 800 feet. I don't know, quite a ways to the very bottom. Have to cross the creek down there. And then it looks like maybe about a 1,200 foot climb back up to the road. And then about 2 or 3 miles up the road and another 500 or 600 feet in elevation to get to the four-wheeler. Hopefully we can get a ride. We'll see. So that's what I know right now. I think it's pretty hard to appreciate just exactly how steep this is, but it's very steep. Anyway, just had some elk bust down below to my left. Gary's over that way, but he said he's stuck in some rocks. Anyway, heard 2 or 3 elk go, and I didn't cow call or anything. I'm guessing they winded us. Our wind has kind of switched to downhill now. Been a battle with the wind all day. Anyway, it's a pain to make this much effort and have the wind screw you constantly. Anyway, I'm gonna keep dropping here. Okay, 3:30. I just had some elk bust down below me toward Gary, and I worked my way down to roughly where they were. I could hear them in the rocks, and that makes sense because, I don't know, plenty of rocks around here. Anyway, I think Gary's messed up in the creek up there, and I'm working my way over toward him. And I don't know, we got to get down off this hill. I can't really tell how much further it is to the bottom, but I would say it's still quite a ways. And it's 3:30, so we'll see what happens. I found a little rub. There's the top of the tree laying over there. Looks like it might have been a month ago or so, maybe a little more. Okay, so it's after 5 sometime, and managed to get across the main drainage. That was some doing, and it's thick, as you can see. At any rate, I broke out on this little flat. I actually aimed for it, but it's pretty elky in here. I'm gonna work across this flat and then up to a little finger ridge that takes us on up to the road. Only about, I think about 900 feet elevation above us. And then about 3 miles and another 400 or 500 feet or more to the four-wheeler. So, long walk tonight. Hopefully we can get a ride. Okay. Well, it's day 3 of elk season. It's Monday, the 17th. Anyway, our day ended yesterday by hiking 2,000 vertical out of the bottom back up to the road, which is about maybe 900 to 1,000 vertical, and then up the road about 3 miles to where I was parked with the four-wheeler, which is another 1,000 vertical. You look at it and go, holy crap, I walked that, but we did. At any rate, we went back to camp, had a quick dinner, passed out. I was sore all night, rolling over, and like every time I moved, I was like, oh my God. Anyway, getting things working again today. Went out in glass this morning, didn't see anything. I took a ride on the four-wheeler, and this afternoon we dropped in off the road, probably only about 500 feet, down into some dark timber that Gary had come into the afternoon the other day and had interaction with elk, but nothing today at all. I think the pressure's pushed them down in deep. So tomorrow, I don't know, I think we're going to move down and get in on some ground that's more friendly to two-wheel drive, which is what I am anymore. Okay, that's it, I think, for now. Gonna hump my way back up out of here. It's a little pretty nice looking stuff. I'd say it's a little too open, to be honest. There's a creek bottom right over there. I'm trying to skirt the edge of, thinking there might be an elk bedded along that creek. It's nice and cool in that bottom. And I did talk to some guys earlier today. Said that this time of year, usually it's around 0 at night. Usually there's some snow up on top. It was 49 degrees this morning when we woke up. And that was early. I mean, it was at 5:30. So, different year. Okay.